Harrisburg Stampede. Justin Coble with
I
us.
gotta change the freaking...
Oh, there it is.
Basically, they were
It's
playing
Major
Major League with a real game. Yeah.
Oh, shit. There's the Hattie.
All right. Welcome to this 102nd edition of the None Other Sports Podcast. I'm flying blind here. I don't have the doc up in front of me. I have just our screen on Skype. So I'm hoping it's the 102nd, and I got that right. My name is Jason.
I'm David.
and we're coming at you hot and not ready on a Saturday morning here for you. Most of you listen on Sunday, but it's Saturday right now.
Yay, mornings.
By the way, did you see in our group the people who were wishing you happy birthday?
I did. Thank you all.
Did you see Diggy? Kevin Dignam, his nickname is Diggy. Diggy put on, after he wished you happy birthday, he then added a comment that said, "And good morning."
I missed that. I missed that one.
That killed me when I saw it. That cracked me up. That's become your catchphrase. We need a mug that says that now.
Oh, God. I can make one.
Good morning mug.
I can make one of those.
Oh, man.
We have the technology. No, I missed that one.
But yeah, last episode while we were recording, it was David's birthday, and I felt horrible afterwards because I wanted to say happy birthday to him on the recording, but we got on a roll, and I forgot. Did you ever forget? I forgot.
Always happens to me.
But happy belated birthday, brother. I mean, I wished it to you in text form, but still.
Thank you. But you don't have to feel bad.
You're only like family to me, so yeah, I'm gonna feel bad. Anyway, off air we were talking about you were talking about Ovechkin having the team form a receiving line. Yeah, handshake line for Fleury because he might be retiring.
Yeah, that was very classy, Ovechkin.
Yeah, it is. That is a very classy move. But I mean, those guys have been in wars together too, against each other.
Oh my God!
So.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that was brought up by the commentators is that of the rivalry, of the wars that they had, of the back and forth matchups, not just regular season but playoffs. But yeah, Ovechkin went after the game, even though they lost. Ovechkin went to the bench and just started calling his players out to center. Start yelling down the hallway and, start the line.
That is the right thing to do. And I don't know what boxer said this, but I've seen the quote where you learn a lot about a person when you face them in battle. And
yeah.
You understand them a lot more in those situations. So the fact that he has that respect for him, even though they were bitter rivals, speaks volumes to the intensity and the respect and brotherhood of the sport. And you said off air that Ovechkin is at 6 goals away on the Gretzky count.
6 away from taking over.
How many games are left?
Of the Mountain. Click on standings here. Please hold while we try to connect you. They have Capitals have 10 games left. So he could easily get it this year.
I was going to say, still conceivable.
Yeah. I mean, Ovechkin has scored already 6 goals in 2 games. He's already gotten a hat trick in 2 games, back-to-back games already. So, and their next game is not till Sunday.
Right.
So, but no, he could easily get it within the next 10 games for sure. Easily. That's going to be, nobody ever thought that record was going to be even challenged, like we talked last time.
I was going to say, I said it to you off the air, but I'm not sure that's exactly what it was that Crosby broke. But didn't Crosby break a points record that Gretzky held?
I think Give me a second here.
No,
Points
you're
per
fine.
game season. It was Crosby breaks Gretzky's record with 20th season averaging points per game.
Wow.
I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame anyways. I mean, Ovechkin, Crosby, I say
Right,
Fleury's in the
right. But
Hall of Fame. So it's just,
again, it goes back to these records from these people that we never thought would get broken because they were at such a level, and here we are.
well, Fleury, I think he's second all time in wins.
Okay.
It's all time. There it is. I'm pretty sure they said all. I think they said second all time.
All right. All right.
Yes, he's behind Brodeur,
Wow.
and Brodeur has 691, and Fleury sitting at 573.
Wow.
And you know who's right underneath him and sitting in third?
Wow.
Yep, good old Patrick Waugh with 551.
Jeez, that's crazy. That is crazy to
So
think that. Yeah.
with his name sitting right there between two legends, two Hall of Fame legends, I mean, you, you know he has to be sitting there. You know, I mean, Fleury deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for what he's done, with his career.
Well,
You know,
let's segue. Go ahead.
he's done a lot
Right.
because he's sitting. Come on, I mean, he has just to have 76 shutouts. That's pretty impressive.
Sounds like a lot. Yeah.
I mean, not like
And they're
Brodeur
not
with
easy to come by.
125. Not like with Brodeur with 125.
No, no. But, I mean, Brodeur was a special talent in goal.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. No doubt. That's because Fleury's sitting 12th with shutouts, or tied for 12th,
Yeah.
because
Well,
he's tied with Eddie Belfour and Tony Esposito. I'm sorry, tied for 10th.
okay. Okay.
But still sitting with being tied with those two legends.
Yeah, those are names that you haven't heard in a long time.
Exactly.
Well, let's segue this into our first half topic here, because there was history made on opening day for Major League Baseball. Austin Wells, catcher for the New York Yankees, became the first catcher not only in franchise history, but the first catcher ever to lead off with a home run on opening day in Major League Baseball history.
That has to be something. First pitch, gone.
Also, he's the first Yankee at any position with a leadoff homer on opening day. So this dude made history
that kind of surprised me. That kind of surprised me, being how long the Yankees been around, and he's the first one to do that. That just kind of shocks me, just because of how the history
because
of the
all
Yankees.
the names that have been there, and he's also the 21st leadoff homer overall by a catcher in MLB history. So only 21 catchers have led off with a home run in MLB history, and he's the first one to do it on opening day.
That's something to say for sure. I mean, geez.
I mean, that's so cool. I don't know if anyone picked him up in our. Well, we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that little fun fact there another time.
Some other really interesting things that happened is Tyler O'Neill had a homer for the 6th straight year on opening day, continuing his record in Major League Baseball.
That's wild to have 6 consecutive years on opening
every
day.
Year for 6 years.
That's pretty funny, pretty impressive too. Because homers a lot of times are not easy to come by, and he's been doing every opener.
Yes, yeah. Since my kid's been alive, my youngest has been alive.
There you go. He's the luck charm.
Yeah, no, I don't know about that. we'll get into one of the games in a little bit. But yeah, the opening day of baseball was crazy with all the things that happened this year.
Phillies won.
Well, we'll get into that. The Mariners had a late game comeback to win their game, very late game because it was a West Coast game. Um, Man, I think we got to. Well, let's talk on this. Juan Soto looked like a fool against Josh Hader. Um, so how's that $700 million contract feeling right now?
Well, hey, you may want to ask the franchise that one because they're just sitting there like, what the hell did we get into?
Um, no, actually, what we need to talk about is how sad the Los Angeles Angels are. I forgot they're not the Anaheim Angels, even though they are in Anaheim. Um, Their game resulted in a position player making his MLB debut pitching against the Chicago White Sox. The lowly Chicago White Sox, I'm going to say, are no longer the worst team in baseball after how they defeated the Angels. And if I'm Mike Trout, I'm questioning why I signed a 13-year deal back in 2019.
And he had options too.
Well, if I'm the Angels, I'm also questioning why I signed him to a 13-year deal based on how injury prone he is.
He's up there. I mean, he's been in the league how long now? He's been there quite
He
some
was
time.
supposed to be the next great player, and I think he's wasted his entire career playing for the Angels. I think the injuries are only making it worse. I don't think he's going to go down the way that people expected him to be remembered. Um, I don't want to say
It,
this other player's name as a comparison because of what happened to that guy is far more tragic. Um, but the only comparison I can think of off the top of my head is David Wright, who was a Met, and how his career ended is sad compared compared to what happened to Mike Trout. Because I think David Wright would have been one of the all-time greats had he had not had the concussion issues that he had. Um, but
concussions are no joke. That's for
let's not
sure.
bring this episode down. Let's get into how infuriating the Philadelphia Phillies were to watch
I
for 8
was waiting
innings
for it.
on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but that's the thing though. That's the Phillies on opening day. They, for some reason, opening day they just cannot get their shit together right off the bat.
So I messaged John yesterday, and I said, "Is Gore that good?" Because he is our resident Nats expert. I said, I'm pulling up the chat now. Bear with me here. I said, is Gore that good? And he said, what do you mean? I said, his performance yesterday. He said, he still got a no decision. Shake my head. Well, I said, the bullpen didn't do well. And he said, they're not going to. That and the young bats. And I just said they'll get there. It's a young team overall. They'll have their time in the sun. But he never really answered my question on if Gore is that good or not.
Yeah. I mean, he, oh,
He made them look
he,
like fools,
yes, he did.
but, and I think there might be some legitimate, I don't want to say there's some legitimacy to this argument. But when they were interviewing Bohm at the end of the game, and he said about the shadows and the sunlight really have an effect on the batters being able to see the ball, see the rotation, try to figure out the trajectory of the pitch before they swing. Um, he said it was really stymied that day because of it. And I think that gives credence to why both pitchers had a very dominating appearance that day.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely play a big part of it. Big part.
Um,
Can't see
and
what's coming at you. I mean,
if you noticed once the sun settled a bit and the contrasts between the shadows and the sun weren't so crazy, the bats came alive. And here's something that surprised me from Thursday's opening day with the Phils. They showed later in the game, they showed more plate discipline than I had seen in 3 seasons. Nick frickin' Castellanos, old Nicky 3 buttons, drew a walk. I thought he was allergic to walks. I thought he was like one of those people who get rabies and they have that fear of water. I thought he had a fear of walks. So the fact that he walked blew me away. Like, I was celebrating him getting a walk because he didn't freaking swing at something stupid for once.
Well, yeah, that's yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's always the one getting struck out.
But he's always getting struck out. Who was drawing walks in that game there at later in the game? There was a few of them who did. Max Kepler was one of them who I'm hoping is
Schwarber had one.
I think Bryce walked.
Let's see here. Castellanos with one. I think, yeah, Castellanos, Kepler, Turner, Harper, and Schwarber.
Yeah, Trey brought himself up from negative points on that one. Anyway, I
think you have him.
I do. We'll get into that later. I can't help it. It just ticks me off. But
we're only 2 days into this thing, and you're already pissed off at your team. Second half's going to be fun. Second half is going to be great.
It was very frustrating watching that game.
It was definitely frustrating, just because it's like, come on, what's the hell? Like, strikeout after strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. It's like, jeez.
Look, I was one of those fans at the end of the season last year calling for Kevin Long's head. Like, there was no plate discipline 2 years in a row in the playoffs. They were swinging at everything. Opening day this year, and they're just striking out left and right. And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Like, here we are again. This team's not making the playoffs. That this is how it looks. And then lo and behold, they're drawing walks late in the game, and I'm like, well, I don't know nothing, because apparently they know how to draw walks all of a sudden.
Well, like you said,
do that some more this year.
Well, like you said, were they allergic to it?
I thought Castellanos had a legitimate fear of walking. And look, I'm a firm believer that getting a walk helps your team.
It can, yeah.
It gets someone on base. Oh, and yeah, let's talk about this, okay? Speaking of guys on base. Kyle Schwarber, you are a big boy. You are a thick boy. Stop trying to steal. You're not built for it, okay, dude? Yes, it's very surprising when you pull it off, but you got that tank of an ass you're pulling around the bases. It ain't happening. That'd be like me trying to steal second. It's not good.
Yeah, when he runs, it's hilarious.
When he runs, okay, so he followed, what was it? He followed Bohm home late in the game, right?
Bohm had he's like, come on.
On that JT shot, he followed Bohm home on that hit, and I'm like, just stay at third. It ain't worth it. I mean, he crossed the plate, he scored, but my God, don't be trying to leg out some of these hits, man. Just go to the most convenient base you can and stay there. Pray for the best.
Yeah, when he runs, it's like, oh, here we go. Tanks are running. The tanks are going. Here we go.
What did Jamie say? She's like, he's got all that cake. He's got to pull with him.
God.
Oh man.
I think one of the funniest memes I saw, I wish I still remember where I found it. It was Schwarber running, and then it was a minion racing him.
Well, that I can see. Yeah.
It's like, oh.
We have to talk.
It worked though.
We have to talk about the very real possibility that next season we won't have Schwarber or JT.
Yeah.
I mean, then we have to, with JT, there's the logistics. Pardon me. There's the logistics of, do we want a 35-year-old catcher?
It's going to be one of those things to where you got to weigh the options.
And I know I'm getting ahead of myself talking about next season, and we're only a game in for the Phils, but they almost have to do it this year. They almost have to win it all this year because they may not have all the pieces next year.
No, 100%. Yeah.
And here's what I don't want to see happen is I don't want them to not sign Schwarber. And we already talked about him earlier. I don't want to see them bring Mike Trout in as a DH. I get it is the feel-good story of Major League Baseball of Mike Trout coming to play for his favorite team because he grew up in the area, blah, blah, blah. I don't want him as our DH. I would rather us move Harper to DH and bring Hoskins back if we could. Well, no, I'd rather Hoskins come back as DH and keep Harper at first.
I was going to say Harper at first.
Harper's become a really good first baseman.
I was going to say he's taking the first base like a duck to water. He's really.
There's other concerns I have about this team for the season beyond just the bats.
There's always concerns.
I'm hoping Stott is legitimately not injured, knowing he played last season injured. Just to gut through it. Nothing but respect for gutting through it, but it hurts the team in the long run. Marsh got to figure himself out at the plate. He's an everyday player now. We know he's got elite speed and he's really great on defense, but he's got to show up at the plate. There's little things now that you got to work on to get over the hump. But I'm off my high horse. Opening day was a lot of fun. Outside of watching the Phils, I mean that game became fun once they fought back.
Once
they made
playing.
Mackenzie Gore look like a Cy Young candidate there for the first 6 innings of the game.
Yeah, that was kind of like, what the hell? Can they solve this guy? That's literally I was thinking, like, can they actually solve this pitcher?
But overall, I think. Well, they didn't figure him out. They figured the bullpen out. But overall, I think
either way they won.
Opening day was one of the best opening days in a long time for a lot of teams, a lot of fans. And it seems like MLB's finally figured out how to market baseball again. So maybe there'll be more eyes on games this year.
For now, this is MLB.
I know. I don't have anything else to talk about for opening day.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So,
all right.
And that's the end of the first. And we will be right back.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.